Good morning, everyone. Isn't this a special, exciting day to be in St. John's? What a beautiful weather day. I'd like to acknowledge John Dent, the senior negotiator with Equinor. I'd like to acknowledge Trevor Pritchard, Senior Vice President, Atlantic Region Husky Energy, Jim Keating, Executive Vice President, Nalcor Oil and Gas, all my cabinet colleagues and caucus colleagues that are here, and all you distinguished guests. Thank you for joining us on such a beautiful morning. As Minister of Natural Resources, it's my pleasure to stand here with Premier Dwight Ball and Unni Fjaer, Vice President, Offshore Newfoundland, Equinor Canada, for this important announcement for Newfoundland and Labrador's oil and gas industry. We would like to start this morning, of course, with a safety moment. In case of fire or other event that would cause us to evacuate the building, we'll hear a very loud, I'm told, a very loud pulsing alarm. We would then calmly exit through the door that is directly behind me. It leads out onto the patio and a set of stairs just ahead that takes us to the waterfront area. As I was getting ready to speak this morning, I remembered about 25 years ago, sitting in a room, I think it was at the Old Colony Club, sitting in a room in the Old Colony Club. I was president of the Board of Trade at the time, and it was about, we were jam-packed, shoulder to shoulder in this room, celebrating Hibernia 25 years ago. And today we're here jam-packed in a room on the waterfront of St. John's, again to celebrate a milestone in our offshore oil and gas industry. It was certainly the early days of the oil and gas industry, and we are all excited to get started. And I know as we fast forward to 2016, when Hibernia, now an incredible success by any standard, celebrated its 1 billionth barrel of oil. And then when you look at 2017, our government was joined with Husky and its partners to announce the sanctioning of the West White Rose extension. Production is expected by 2022. In 2018, we made our vision of oil and gas development in Newfoundland and Labrador clear with the release of Advance 2030, and most of you in this room had a hand in developing that plan. Advance 2030 is an innovative plan that it was developed through a collaborative process, and it brought federal, provincial, industry stakeholders together and engaged in a wide range of perspectives. This is the most comprehensive and committed plan to grow our offshore industry the province has ever had. And our plan is ambitious, yet achievable. And today, it moves those milestones yet again. We envision Newfoundland and Labrador as an internationally preferred location for oil and gas exploration and development, driven by an innovative, sustainable local industry that is globally competitive, environmentally responsible, and maximizes benefits to the people of this province. Our commitment is that we will leave no stone unturned, no action not taken, no effort undone to achieve the success of the oil and gas industry. And the time is now to advance that opportunity. We have to seize this moment and advance the industry, and we have done just that. It is with the vision of Advance 2030 that we are here today to take the next step in our journey. To announce the next frontier in offshore Newfoundland and Labrador, I invite Premier Dwight Ball to take the stand.
Thank you, Minister Coady. And good morning, everyone. And to you, Unni, welcome. And to Trevor, good to see you again. I know we have a number of councillors, mayors of our local communities who want to welcome you as well. It's really a pleasure for me to join all of you here this morning. I guess when you think about Newfoundland and Labrador and growing up in this province, the view that I see to my left is one that is a very personal favorite of mine, but yet it's something that's iconic no matter where you live in this province. Not just because of the strong history of the St. John's Harbour, but also because of the activity that we see on a daily basis here. Just in front of me, down this way, you would see a shipyard. Behind me, you would see a very active marine supply base. And I will tell you that this province is on course for success in many industries. You've all heard me say many, many times, and for quite some time, that this is a province that's open for business. And ladies and gentlemen, we are seeing the results of that. Companies both nationally and internationally recognize the strength of our workforce and our innovative business community and our natural resources. And they want to do business right here in Newfoundland and Labrador. We are seeing doors that are opening for many economic and business opportunities. As an example, in mining, just last month we saw that Vale confirm its commitment to go underground at Voisey's Bay. In Labrador West, Tacora is expected to begin production on the former Walbush mine site later this year. The IOC Walbush 3 project will provide new sources of iron ore and extend the operation of the Carroll Lake project. In St. Lawrence, there's exciting progress being made on the Fjaer mine. Ingenuity in our aquaculture industries are supporting communities and spurring new generations of farmers and sustainable fish harvesting. And the developments that we're seeing in our ocean industries are just nothing short of being remarkable. As Siobhan has said, just 20 years ago it started with Hibernia. Since then, we've been leaders globally in the offshore with Hebron, Terra Nova, and with Sea Rose. Last year, Trevor and the team at Husky, along with his partners, launched the West White Rose extension. Progress is being made. I had a short discussion with Trevor this morning. If you go back and reflect on the last 17 months in natural resources, we have seen investments of $16.2 billion in just 17 months. So I want to thank the Minister and the staff at Natural Resources for the work that you are doing in getting some of those projects come on stream. What's important is that these new projects are creating jobs. They're invigorating our globally competitive supply chain and bringing new revenues to our province. It's creating consumer confidence and encouraging consumer spending. Of course, all of this allows us as a government to fund education for our children and to supply health services for Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. To help sustain the critical investment activity, my government has launched an ambitious vision that will grow and expand the oil and gas industry. That plan is Advance 2030. Siobhan touched on that a few minutes ago. We know even with exploration in itself, that brings investment dollars to our shores. We have nearly $3 billion in exploration work commitments and commitments that are unlocking our industry's true potential. We have been on an incredible journey. And today, we step into a new frontier for Newfoundland's and Labrador's oil and gas industry. Ladies and gentlemen, the future of our offshore begins today. To date, our offshore has been focused on one basin. Today, we mark a new era. It's a new era of offshore with deep water production and the opening of a new basin, the Flemish Pass. This will spark new opportunities in our offshore. It is my privilege to announce a framework agreement has been reached with Equinor and their partner Husky Energy on the Bay du Nord project. Discovered in 2013, sanction is expected in 2020 and first oil expected in 2025. The total capital and operating cost for the Bay du Nord project is expected to be $10.9 billion. Newfoundland and Labrador will have a 10% equity stake in the development. With reserves of nearly 300 million barrels of oil, we expect the life of the project to extend from 12 to 20 years. It will create an estimated 11,000 person-years of employment, generating $3.5 billion in government revenues and $14 billion in economic activity. We expect in-province fabrication of 5,000 metric tons or more. $75 million will be invested in R&D as well as education and training over a 10-year period. The investment will position Newfoundland and Labrador as a global center of excellence for deepwater oil and gas development. There will be a focus on subsea technology, renewable energy, digitalization, and ocean innovation. Also, this framework agreement includes a gender equity and diversity program. Equinor and Husky's commitment to this project once again highlights the attractiveness of our industry and the potential that exists offshore Newfoundland and Labrador. I firmly believe that we are on the cusp of great things, and we can be confident that the future of Newfoundland and Labrador is indeed bright. Globally, our knowledge and our experience and our attractiveness as a place to do business is in demand. The world is watching, and Newfoundland and Labrador, we are delivering. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to share with you this brief video, and thank you very much. Thank you. This is the future of the oil and gas industry for Newfoundland and Labrador. Thank you.
Exciting. Thank you, Premier Ball. Equinor and its partner Husky continue to demonstrate their confidence and commitment to Newfoundland and Labrador's offshore with this framework agreement. Unni Fjaer is Vice President Offshore Newfoundland with Equinor Canada, and I invite Unni to come forward and thank her for her leadership on this file.
Thank you, Minister Coady, Premier Ball, and thank you all for such a warm welcome this morning. And what a great video, giving a flavor of a very important and exciting project, both for the province and for Equinor. I'm very pleased to be standing here today on behalf of Equinor and our partner Husky Energy. And since we started our activities offshore Newfoundland more than a decade ago, our ambition has always been to become an operator. Today's announcement of a framework agreement for Bay du Nord is an important step towards making this ambition reality. While we were known as Statoil when the Bay du Nord discovery was made back in 2013, just a few months ago we became Equinor. And collaboration still remains just as important a value for Equinor as it was when we were Statoil. Working together with our partner Husky, the supplier and service industry, and the entire community, was as important to the success of discovering Bay du Nord as it is to our announcement today, and will be for our future success. To me, collaboration happens when individual parties work together to achieve common goals. So when Premier Ball and Minister Coady released the Advanced 2030 vision, a groundwork for collaboration and innovation was established that was fundamental in enabling this framework agreement. We are encouraged by the progress we have made at Bay du Nord, and it's now critical that our focus remains on ensuring that this project is competitive in Equinor's global portfolio, giving it the best chance of success. And as the Premier mentioned, aligned with our focus on innovation and development, we plan to invest more than 75 million in research and development, education and training. And that's to build capacity in subsea technology and digitalization. But this is not a project without its challenges. With 300 million barrels reserves, located 500 kilometers from shore at deep waters and in harsh environment, we know there will be obstacles to overcome before we potentially reach a decision on a final investment. But working closely together with government and with many of you in this room today will remain critical to reach our shared goal of achieving first oil at Bay du Nord. I would like to thank Premier Ball and Minister Coady for your dedication and vision for a strong energy future in Newfoundland and Labrador. Your effort really makes a difference. I would also like to thank Husky Energy, who has been a valued partner with us on our exploration journey for more than a decade and has actively shared their vast operating experience offshore Newfoundland. And now we welcome and look forward to working together, sharing knowledge and experience with a new partner in the province's energy company. Finally, I would like to thank my great colleagues at Equinor who saw the opportunity and believed in it, even when it was not easy or straightforward. I can guarantee that they will continue their hard work and dedication on this project for the years coming. I mentioned our recent name change. Our new name describes how we want to approach people and the societies where we operate. Equi is the starting point for great words like equal, equality, equilibrium, and I'm proud that the Bay du Nord Gender Equity and Diversity Program will ensure practices for this project that reflect the principles of a strong and diverse workforce. This is actually a fantastic opportunity for us to live up to the equi of our name. At Equinor, our purpose is to turn natural resources into energy for people and progress for society. This means we will use our competence and technology to provide energy for a growing population in a responsible way. And I strongly believe that our announcement today is an important opportunity to help realize our purpose here offshore Newfoundland. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Unni. As you've heard, this is the first step into the next frontier of our province's oil and gas industry. We expect continued interest in exploration offshore Newfoundland and Labrador. We will see significant drilling and completions work in advance of production, resulting in opportunities to increase exploration drilling due to rig availability. That's a hint for all the operators in the room. A framework agreement for Beta Nord is also expected to attract new exploration interest in deep water and other basins offshore Newfoundland and Labrador, and our government is committed to advancing exploration and development opportunities. We now know that there are over 20 basins, including several new play trends, and over 650 new leads and prospects that have been identified. The scale of opportunity offshore is immense. Newfoundland and Labrador sedimentary basins total 910,000 square kilometers, and only 7% of it is licensed. Talk about opportunity. Taking this information to the world's leading oil and gas companies has resulted in 7 new entrants offshore in the last 2 years alone, and has driven investment in exploration. We are optimistic that the development of this new frontier will contribute to a dynamic, competitive, prosperous oil and gas industry for offshore Newfoundland and Labrador for many, many years to come. We're excited about the upcoming bid round closing in November that shows scientific evidence of active petroleum systems in the bid area. I want to also make sure that I thank the great team at Natural Resources, specifically Gordon McIntosh, who's the Deputy Minister, and of course our Assistant Deputy Minister, Doug Trask, and all their teams for the incredible work that they are doing. We thank you for that work, and we look forward to continuing to work with both Husky and Equinor and others in our offshore oil and gas industry to continue to drive development. Thank you to everyone who's joined us today. It's a great day. I also want to recognize my Parliamentary Secretary for Natural Resources, Graham Leto, is here, and I want to thank him for his work on this file. I encourage you all to stay and to enjoy some refreshments in the outer room and talk about the opportunities and the great development that's happening, and to celebrate this milestone in the offshore Newfoundland and Labrador. Thank you very much for attending.